Hello and welcome back to Test Drive Thursday, and the wait is finally over. Here is the official SCS Volvo VNL. Now I'm going to do this video a little bit different to normal. I'm not just going to configure one truck and go out and drive it. I'm going to configure all three variants of this new truck that we got. So we got the VNL 300, the VNL 730 and the VNL 780 as you see here. But yeah, let's stop wasting time and get straight into it. Okay then, so here we are inside the brand new Volvo truck dealer. Now this is situated in Las Vegas, and if you downloaded some of the VNL mods before this official version came out, you would have seen the Volvo dealership was actually in Las Vegas, as it is in the standard game now, which is quite interesting. It must have been in a game file or something hidden from most people. But yeah, this is the Volvo VNL 300 as you can see here. Sort of a cab, a day cab design, useful for short hops, and it looks fairly cool. I don't think we've had a VNL 300 mod, so yeah, this is really cool having a official one by SCS. Now on to customize. Cabin we're just going to leave alone as the 300. You can see the differences there, but we get into that later on. Now you can see here how it says short. Now these short chassis are for the 300. The long versions are the 730 and 780, and as I said, we'll have a look later on. But yeah, we start off with a 6x2 150 gallon tank. No mid lift, no tag lift or anything. For an extra 1100, you can move up to a mid lift, then a 6x4, then a 6x2 with 200 gallons, 6x2 mid, 200 gallons, and then 6x4 with 200 gallons. Each time you can see the heavy cargo ability increasing. So yeah, nice little range there, nothing too out of the ordinary. Now engines. We've got these brand new engines in the game. I'm running no mods. I thought I'd just let you know. But yeah, these are new engines in the game, the Volvo engines. So we got the D11, the D13. I'm not too sure if these ISXs are in the standard game, but we got an option for them here. And we've also got the D16. Now Volvo engines sort of power ranges from 355 horsepower with 1700 newton meters up to 600 horsepower with 2,800 newton meters of torque. So even the base engine has got 1,700 newton meters of torque, which is pretty impressive. I just did, before we started, a quick little run around the block in a D16, and it sounded really nice. So it's going to be interesting to try some of the other engines. Transmission, we are going. Well, we got loads of different options here as usual. We got some 6 speeds, 10 speeds, 12s, 13s, 18s. Yeah, great range. Now, the interior is where I think it's let down slightly. I'll get to what I sort of think's happened later on, but just some of the modelling isn't perfect. I mean, if you look at the speaker grille, it isn't perfectly round. And then some of the textures down here, and maybe on the cup holder and everything, aren't unbelievable, but that's not taken away from it. It's still a really nice cabin. I don't like the sort of choice of colours. We've got this sort of baby blue sort of colour with the wood accents, and it's really dated and quite horrible. I mean, if you look at the sort of texture on the seat and the door card, yeah, it's not really my taste. You then got the Elite interior, which is this sort of beigey brown, which again I don't like. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I can't wait until we get some interior mods for this. Paint jobs. Now, what I find interesting here is we've actually got the sort of paint codes for the I'm guessing actual Volvo colours. I might be wrong about that, but we do have paint codes in here. Look at that one. That one's like almost like a ruby stone red or something. DK green, grey, white, gold. Yeah, some really nice colours here. But we've also got the custom metallic, custom, and then all the standard customizable ones. That works really well actually along there. I like that. Thunderbird, look at that one. Some really cool ones in there. So yeah, everything that you'd really want. If we just go for this white for now. So starting off down at the bottom, we have got the oversized load banner. We got all the different bumper options, some chrome versions, bumper classic, bumper chrome 2, loads of different options here. You can have them with these fog lights here that sort of act as daytime running lights, which are quite nice. But yeah, you can create some really cool looking designs down there. We've also got some bull bars which are really cool, the way they're adapted to sort of perfectly fit the cabin. Not too sure about this one, the way that sort of stretches around, but the small works really well. Also got a big bull bar, big black. Right, so up on the grill you can either have this sort of black slats like this, or you can have chrome, up to you which you prefer. You then got the side mirrors, which I don't usually go because they reduce your FPS, but they're there if you want. You can have a metal deflector and then a different style on top, or just without if you want. Around the side we've got the warning flags. You got the side skirts with the Volvo sort of lettering on there, looks really smart. Door handles, quite a few different ones there. Then we got the mirrors, 4 different mirror options, so you can have these heavy duty sort of plastic sort of design. You then got the mirror standard with these massive antenna on top, mirror painted, and then you also got mirror exclusive. So 3 different mirror designs, which is quite interesting. Up to you which you prefer again. We've then got the not actually your sun visor, it's sort of built in, isn't it? You've got sort of lights along the top, or you can have them with a chrome strip. Then we got some roof bar lights where you can have the new Lumen Mark III lights. Again, this is all part of the base game, so really nice auxiliary lights there. And we've got the horn adapter. This is where you can add some wind deflectors. Now a lot of people don't like this, but it's all in the aim of aerodynamic efficiency, isn't it? So if you're taking a box trailer and you're on a budget, you don't have to go for the big cabins. Then we got the beacons around the back. We have got the sort of aero deflectors or fins, not too sure what they're called. You can have them with or without the extra sort of, not too sure, is that plastic or rubber sort of deflectors on the side. So you can either have a single exhaust, dual exhaust, or this exhaust that exits down here. I don't know if you can see it just here. Not actually too sure what SCR stands for, but if anyone knows, please do put in the comments. I would love to know. Mud flaps around the back, and that's pretty much it for the customization. On the inside you can change the colour of the wheel, so if we just put in here Volvo, you can have the exclusive one to match the dashboard, or if you go for default, I do think it works better with this interior because you get the black from the seats and that goes onto the wheel. I do think the brown is perhaps a little bit too much, but it's up to you obviously. You got some number plate in the window, and that is pretty much it. Forgot to mention that little side mirror there. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of me building this Volvo 300 to my spec. Okay then, so here we are, all fully configured with the VNL 300. Now I've gone with a sort of really basic spec, as you'd sort of expect from the sort of base, sort of entry-level VNL. Grey paint, the sort of steel wheels, no sort of extra chrome bits or anything, just completely basic, and I still think it looks really cool. If we just turn it on here, You got the side lights that illuminate really nicely. Gone with all the plastic parts and everything. I actually think it looks pretty smart. Now, again, I don't like the interior colours. I do find it a bit sort of weird, but in general, the textures are pretty good. It's just some parts, like maybe down at the bottom of the seat, and yeah, maybe on the door cards a tad, but in general it is pretty good in here, as you'd expect. Now, I really like the dials of this. I mean, if we just turn the lights off for a second, I really like the way they illuminate up. You got the really nice rev counter with the eco zone that illuminates. You got the speedo, fuel really visible and easy to see. It's not sort of hiding behind the steering wheel. If we just cycle through the displays, you've got obviously your gear indicator there. You got a temperature, distance to empty. You got the time and the odometer at the bottom. Then you got cruise control. So all your temperatures, your fuel economy, and then back around to the start. Now, what I don't like is it doesn't have a digital speedo, which is a bit of a shame. But if it doesn't have one in real life, I guess it's realistic. If you just have a look at some of the details here, I mean, you can see even the sort of depress of the hazard light button works. And you got the parking brake there. Does the diff lock work? Yeah, diff lock button works. So it's really detailed in that sense. You've got the retarder on that stalk. You got the wipers there. They work really well. You got the indicators on that stalk there. So yeah, it is a really detailed truck, but I think it's time to go for a quick spin. Now, I went with the standard D11 engine, the most, the lowest power output, 350 horsepower, something like that. So not a load, but it should be plenty for the kind of things that this truck would be doing. I mean, look at the turning circle on this. This is the mid-lift chassis. It's got a really, really good turning circle. If we just pull out of here now, I went with the 6-speed gearbox, which is really quick shifting and super smooth. The mirrors are sort of a little bit unusual, these basic heavy-duty mirrors. They've got massive borders, and they block quite a lot of your view as well, which is a bit of a shame. And the bezels are massive, so you don't actually get that much field of view out of them. It's really kind of unusual. But in general, looking out, the visibility is okay. I do think maybe the W900 is a little bit better visibility, but you can't see, well, you can't really see the sort of the bull nose of the truck. It does sort of feel like a cab over in a way. As I am used to driving Volvo cab overs, I don't really drive the bull nose Volvos that often. The indicators sounds pretty nice though, which I found with these Volvo D engines, or diesel engines I'm guessing. If you put our foot down now, it's got a really nice sort of throaty sound to it, and even though this is the most basic power output, it gets up to speed pretty effectively. Let's turn left here. And listen to that. Sounds really, really nice. So now we're going to move over to the Volvo VNL 730. So now we've moved along to the VNL 730, and straight away from the 300 you can see the difference in the length of the chassis and the massive cabin that we've got here, the sleeper cabin. So if we go into the custom truck configurator, we've got access to the longer chassis. So starting off with a 6x2, 222 gallons, 220 gallons. We got the mid lift, 6x4, 300 mid lift, and then the 6x4. So sort of same ranges, but instead of 150 gallons we've got 220, and instead of 200 gallons we have got 300. Engines are exactly the same. Maximum is the 600 engine output here. Transmissions again exactly the same. Interior, obviously this part obviously in the back is different with the sleeper, all these extra storage parts here, but the colours are the same. Again, I do not like it. It's pretty horrible, to be honest, and it sort of looks like this colour is different to the mattress, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, I don't really like the interior theme. Same sort of paint sort of themes here that are carried along. And then moving on to the options, again pretty much the same. Same bumpers down here. The difference is we've got slightly different sun visor. We got the side skirts that are longer, and then I think the sort of exhaust, or dual exhausts at least, do fit this cabin a little bit better. The exhausts look a lot more sort of purposeful on this cabin, which I prefer, but other than that, the customization is pretty the same. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of me building the 730 to my spec. Okay, so here we are, configured in the 730 spec. Now I've gone with this really nice metallic green, one of the preset greens. Looks really smart. I've gone with all the sort of chrome front, the bowl bar, the sort of wing mirrors, the standard door mirrors, which are different to the ones that we had previously. A lot thinner bezels and easier to see around. But other than that, it's fairly similar on the face of it, at least, to the 300. Interior is pretty much exactly the same, up here at front at least, and yeah, really nice. I've gone with the D13 engine this time, the 435 output, with again the 6-speed, which I really like. It doesn't sound any different, but that isn't really a bad thing, as it sounds really good anyway. So let's do a quick U-turn and then we'll go for a quick drive around the block. Turning circle is obviously nowhere near as good as the 300s. So we've got an extra, so I believe we've got an extra 100 horsepower in this thing. So if we put our foot down, yeah, it's a definite noticeable difference versus the basic engine. Not too sure the extent to which that's going to be useful in sort of your day-to-day driving in this game, but it is a nice power jump when you're driving them back to back. The front mirrors, I don't find them that useful, to be honest. They are quite small and they do sort of block some of your front visibility, but they do sort of help position the front of the truck a little bit. I think we've just put our foot down a little bit here, so slow down to 20 and then punch it. I mean, you can see how quickly this gearbox changes down. So that's 40 and 50 before we brake. It does feel like a big heavy truck though. It doesn't really hide its weight. I mean, you saw then when we turned in, there was quite a lot of body roll. But yeah, still a really nice truck. So let's move along to the big boy, the 780. So here we are at the 780. You can see the difference between the 730 and the 780 here. Much sort of taller cabin with the extra headroom and everything that involves. So let's move over to the configurator, and then again I'll show you through everything. So chassis are the same as the 730, same engines as all the others, same transmissions. The interior, a lot more sort of spacious. You got the bunk bed here, sunroof up here, and it just feels a lot more airy than the other one. Again, the exact same colours and options for there. and then pretty much the exact same options as the 730. But again, the exhaust really sort of fit in nicely here to the top of the cabin. You've got the option, if I can find it, the option for the deflectors here. I'm not too sure what I prefer, these sort of black parts around the edge or not. The full side skirt here looks really nice, and generally I do think the 780 finishes off the design pretty well. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of me building the 780 to my spec. Okay then, so here we are, all fully configured in our final sort of spec today. A lot of people won't like this colour, but I think it looks pretty cool with the painted wheels and everything. So I've gone with the 600 horsepower engine this time, sort of top of the range, and the 6-speed automatic, which I really like. Now, getting on the interior, I went with the cream interior this time. And we've got the bench in the back. It looks pretty cool. If you start it up, I love the way the sort of dash illuminates with everything. And we're starting up from the outside. Sounds pretty cool. So let's just turn the side lights on. I think we might be able to reverse back slightly actually. Turning circle again is not great on these massive 780s. I'm not too sure if we're even going to make that. Yep, we just did. She's not too bad actually. So if we just turn right here, I went with the, I believe they're called exclusive mirrors this time, so you've been able to see the difference between all of them. I actually prefer the sort of standard ones, the sort of two options in the middle of the list. These ones just seem a little bit too square to me. And they block quite a lot of your view because you've only got that sort of tiny slat between them, and on that side you can't really see much between them at all. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird mirror option to be honest. But the rest of the interior, I do think it's better than the blue, the cream, but yeah, it's still not great. Now I do think there are some parts that are perhaps showing their sort of age a bit, not in a sort of bad way, but it sort of shows the progress that SCS have made. I mean, if we just pull over here, I'll show you what I mean. So let's turn the brake on here. So as I said, with the sort of things like the speaker grill, they're not perfectly round. There's maybe some of the cup holders and textures down at the bottom, and then if we move on the outside and just move around to the sort of front grille here, you can perhaps see the sort of textures aren't amazing. I mean, from a distance they're fine, but when you do get up close to them, they do sort of look a bit low in some areas. Now, my sort of theory behind that is maybe this truck has been ready for quite a while, maybe 2.5 years ago when this game first came out, and they just haven't been able to release it because of the licensing issues and everything, and they haven't sort of updated it in that time, so it's just been left really. And it's sort of showing how far SCS have come with their sort of modelling. The sort of the new Scania that came out maybe a year ago now looks even better than this model. I'm not saying it's a bad model, it's just in some areas it's lower textures, and it just shows you how SCS are just improving their detail all the time. But overall, I do think it's a really welcome addition to the game. It's really cool to have Volvo. I'm excited to see where the mods sort of take it further. And yeah, it's a really nice truck. If you enjoyed this video, please do give me a like, subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.